What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and to another WNBA video. We have a two-game slate to dive into for Wednesday, June 25th. So we're going to break down and analyze each of those two games. I'm going to talk about which way that I'm leaning as far as the points and the spread. We're also going to go over any player props that I found in those games that I like. And when it's all said and done, make sure you check down there into the pinned comment. You'll find a link down there that's going to send you over to the Guy Boston Sports website. It's where all of my final plays for these games are going to live for free. Now, typically right here, we would recap our plays from the day before, but those games just tipped off. So we're going to have to recap those along with these plays here in tomorrow's video. So let's go ahead and get into the mix, guys. Smash that like button down there for me if you can. Hit subscribe if you have not already. Now let's go ahead and dive into the mix. We have the New York Liberty taking on the Golden State Valkyries. Both these games tonight tip off at 10 p.m. We have a total sitting at 162.5. The Liberty coming in at 8.5-point favorites. That's going to be the third head-to-head matchup between these two this season, with New York winning each of the previous two contests. New York is sitting at 10-3 straight up, just 6-7 to the spread, and the Liberty have now lost 3 of their last 4, including 2 straight coming into this one. Now, the expansion Valkyries, on the other hand, they've won 5 of their last 6. That's improving them to 7-6 straight up, 9-4 to the number. Man, their wins have been impressive, though, to say the least, right? A complete demolition of the Aces, a beatdown of the Sun, an 8-point win over the Sparks, an 11-point win over the Fever, and then most impressive, probably their 76-70 win over a 9-5 Seattle Storm team. So this Valkyrie squad's starting to come together, man, starting to gel, right? In that regard, though, let's call a spade, you know what I mean? Because although the Liberty are struggling here in their last 4, they have been without both Leone Fibic and last year's Finals MVP and former league MVP, Jonquel Jones. And they didn't lose to bad teams either, right? Those 3 of the 4 that they lost. They caught a Fever team that had the momentum of Caitlin Clark coming back from injury. And then they dropped games to the 11-4 Mercury, and then those Storms that we just talked about. And in between those 3 losses, well, that was a win over the Dream, who sit at 4th in the league, sitting at 10-4 overall, and have looked really, really good to open up the year. So this New York team hasn't fallen off. It's not the end of the world. Just a little bit of a tough stretch, dealing with injuries, dealing with players away for the EuroLeague action as well, and playing good teams in the process. Sabrina Ionescu is listed as a game time decision here. She did miss that last one, was a late scratch, but she is expected to play and did go through practice on Tuesday. The Valkyries, they have 4 players away for EuroLeague action between Van Loo, Salon, Zonda and Fog Benley. They are all away for this team still. They brought in fan favorite Caitlin Chen and also Letitia Amir to help kind of fill those gaps, right? Amir played well in the preseason, so it was kind of a shock to see her let go anyways. So good to see her back on this team. And she's looked good so far in her return to the Valkyries as well. Kayla Thornton, on the other hand, for Golden State, man, she's been here from the get-go, from the beginning of the season, and she has emerged as the go-to scorer for Golden State. She is a former Liberty as well, helped them win that title last season, played a key role down the stretch in that finals run. And now we have Tiffany Hayes back as well for Golden State, returning from injury after, getting her nose busted up a few weeks back. All in all, though, man, just having a really hard time looking past the fact that this Liberty team has lost back-to-back games, and they have seen this Valkyries team twice already on the year too, right? They know how to beat them. They've done it twice already. Um, New York does still lead the league in scoring, right? 88 points per game. They are 3rd overall for shooting percentage. They're 4th for shooting percentage from deep. They sit at 5th for rebounds. They are 3rd for assists, and they cough it up at the 5th lowest rate. They lead the league in fast break points. They lead the league in points scored off of turnovers, and they are forcing the 3rd most turnovers per contest. Golden State is giving up the 5th most made threes per game. They sit just middle of the pack at 7th in terms of 3-point shooting percentage allowed. The Valkyries do sit at 1st for rebounds, but they are giving the ball up at the 4th highest rate. They are allowing the 5th most points scored off of turnovers and the 3rd most fast break points. So I have been impressed with the Valkyries so far this season. I really have, and their cover rate really, really makes me want to take a look at them with all these points, right? But this feels like a bounce back spot for the Liberty, man. New York hasn't lost 3 in a row since July of 2022. So it's been some time since they've lost 3 straight games. I think they lost 2 in a row last season just once. And I don't think that they lost 2 in a row the year before in 2023. They didn't lose back-to-back games at any point in the year. So New York has been a very, very good squad over these last few seasons. Like I said, we got to look all the way back to 2022 to see the last time that they lost 3 games in a row. So I do think that they roll here, man, but they have failed to cover in 5 of their last 6. 2 of their 3 starters are out. A third is probable, but she is a game time decision nonetheless. So, battling through injuries, that neck injury that's bugged her, on and off. So yeah, man, I'd lean New York, but I'm hesitant to pull the trigger. We'll see if I can get there with that one. For the total money, it's steady coming in on the under, on a line that originally opened up at 163.5. We saw it, work its way all the way down to 160.5, but despite that money still coming in on the under, we've seen that number jump back up to 162.5. New York plays at the fastest pace in the league. They are bringing an offense in that ranks just below Atlanta in offensive rating, sitting at second. But they sit at first for defensive rating, and they are holding opponents to just 77 points per game. That is the second fewest across the league. The Liberty have hit to the over in 8 of their 13 games this season. The Valkyries have hit to the under in 8 of their 13 played. Head to head, we have seen 2 unders from these two, but that was towards the beginning of the year when the Valkyries were really struggling to, just to find their offensive identity, period. I'd lean over for this one, man. And the more I look at it, the more I look into this game, the more I sit here and talk about it out, just talking out with you guys. The more I think that this might be somewhere where I look at a Liberty, a parlay, a Liberty on the money line, and then take a alternate over, get that total down in the high 150 somewhere. Combine that with that Liberty money line. And a player prop in this one I'd be looking at be Veronica Burton, looking at her points under 11.5. Now we can see she's hit under this rate at a 54% rate on the year. There's a lot of red here at the beginning, but you can see here, right? In her last 5, she's hitting that at a 100% hit rate. So we do like to see that, man. In her last 5 games, she has really, really struggled, right? Shooting just 23% from the field, just 22% from downtown. And she is still getting the minutes. You know what I mean? It's not like she's seen a drastic dip in play or anything like that. So definitely like this look here, guys. We can see that, New York sitting at second for points allowed defensively. And we can see this insight from outlier Veronica Burton. She has failed to exceed 11.5 points in 16 of her last 19 games versus top 5 defenses for points allowed. Averaging just 5 points per game in that time. Now, full disclosure, some of these games do date back into last year when she was in a much more reduced role as compared to this season. So we do have to keep that in mind, right? When looking at this insight here from Outlier. But like I said, man, the data still supports this one, especially looking at her in a recent rate, right, in her last 5 games, smacking to that under at a 100% hit rate and just really, really struggling shooting it from the field. So, like this one here, Veronica Burton under 11.5 points, minus 128 over there at FanDuel. Then next up, going to be looking at the Connecticut Sun taking on the Las Vegas Aces. Aces opened up as 15.5 point favorites. That is now up to 17.5. Total sitting at 159.5. It's another 10 p.m. tip-off like I talked about, both these games starting at 10 p.m. This one, this is just wild to me, man. I know the Sun are bad, but we're going to lay 17.5 points with the Aces now. Yeah, man, I don't see me getting there with this one, but let's go ahead and dive into this game anyways, right? 17.5, man. Wow. The Sun are coming in. They're losers of 6 straight. They are on the road here for the second of a 4-game road trip. They sit at 6-8 to the number, just 2-12 straight up on the year. The Aces took care of a struggling Fever team their last time out after dropping 5 of their previous 6. Vegas is now 6-7 straight up, just 4-9 to the spread. Marina Mabry is out with a knee injury in this one, so that definitely plays into that line. She's going to miss the next 2 to 4 weeks now with a knee injury, man. So that definitely hurts for Connecticut for sure. It's a team that lacks scoring punch to begin with, so losing her, it's not really ideal. Like I said, they lack that scoring punch. They really just lack in general, right? There's not a lot to get excited about with this team, unfortunately, man. They still sit at dead last for offensive, defensive, and overall net rating. The Aces, though, they aren't doing much better on the year, man, right? Just ninth across the board in all 3 of those categories. So can't really find advantages either way when looking at these two, right? Neither team has done anything particularly well this season. I can say that the Aces hit the most field goals from just outside the restricted area in the paint across the league. Sun are allowing the 4th highest shooting percentage in this zone, but they are doing so on the second fewest makes across the league. The Sun, they themselves, they do okay in the mid-range. They're hitting the second most field goals in the W in that zone. Vegas does allow the fourth most field goals from the mid-range and at the third highest shooting percentage, so we can keep that in mind here. I don't know, man. All in all, I hate this game, guys. I do. I don't want to bet this one, man. I think the Aces win, which that alone should have you, like, all of you should be running to the window right now and smashing the Sun for a plus money line because I'm on here saying that I think the Aces are going to win. Guys, if you've been watching my WNBA videos, I'm just dating back into last season even. Man, anytime I ride with the Aces, they fail me. If I fade the Aces, it goes against me too. I don't have any luck with these aces, man. Me betting on the aces is about as consistent as they've been on the floor this season. But no, man, I do. I think Vegas wins this one. But I don't think that they just run away with it either and win this one by 18. Could they? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, they smoked the Sun team by 25 just earlier this year. But am I going to put my hard-earned money on them doing it again? Absolutely not. You know? So I'll lean Connecticut with the points here just because it's so many points. But like I said, man, I hate this game. This is not something that I'm trying to bet. Or even probably watch, you know what I mean? I'll catch the highlights and check the box score. This isn't going to be that entertaining whatsoever, in my opinion. For the total, the Sun have played to the second slowest pace this season. The Aces sit at fifth in that regard. They landed well under this number in their first head-to-head meeting this season, and we've seen the Aces hit to the under in 3 of their last 4, the Sun in 3 of their last 5. The Sun have hit under this specific number on the road at a 71% hit rate, 64% overall. So want to look to an under here, but the Aces, you know, they could do just enough to ruin it. They've only landed under this number in 1 of their last 6 games at home. So I don't know. Maybe, you know, if we're going to look at the total, maybe this is an Aces team total over. Maybe we look at a Sun team total under. But then we got to trust the Aces to stand up on defense, which I don't. Um, you know, maybe it's a parlay of the two where we take some alternates and we look at a, you know, a lower Sun or lower Aces team total over and a higher point total for the Sun to hit under. You know, there's a lot of different ways that you can look at these totals, guys. So this is one that always check into the pin comment and just see, you know, which way that we end up deciding on rolling with this one, if we do at all. But I'll say it again, man, not the most attractive game from a betting standpoint. You know, as far as the side, as far as the total. Now there is a player prop that has my eye in this one. We could jump right over here to Outlier to check this one out, guys. JC Sheldon of the Sun, her points over 9.5. Now we did just cash on this, right? It was sitting at 8.5, so the books are starting to adjust. We see that go up to 9.5, but it's sitting at plus money, plus 148, right? You see the aces now. They are sitting at ninth overall for points allowed defensively. Against that guard position, they do sit at first, right? 12th against the forwards, ninth against centers, ninth overall. But they are sitting at first against guards. So we do have to keep that in mind. But Marina Mabry is out for this one, which means that we are going to see a lot more JC Sheldon out there. She should be in the starting lineup. And we have seen her start to really hit this number as of late, right? We see her hitting at a 50% rate on the season, 80% in her last 4 games, and shooting the ball very well as well in those last 5, 53% from the field, 47% from downtown. And you can see even on the year, you know, for the entirety of the year, she has shot the ball, you know, pretty well, man. 49% from the field, just under 40% from deep at 39%. So I like this one, JC Sheldon, especially at plus money, plus 148. That is going to wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. I hope you found the content helpful and useful. And if you did, please do not forget to smash that like button down below and hit subscribe if you have not already. That's going to do it, guys. Hope you guys all have a great night tonight. Hope you guys all cash out, and I'll see you back tomorrow for the next one.